In this video, I break down a 30K per month business owner's personal brand.
To be honest, I'll tell you my initial reaction. This scares me that I would start getting too many clients.
And walk him through exactly what to fix to consistently attract clients with his content.
I think that kind of broke the limiting belief I just had.
We also cover how to find winning content ideas consistently, how to structure your videos to get views and qualified followers, how to install a content system that turns new followers into paying clients on autopilot, and the exact weekly schedule I use to post consistently while spending less than 4 hours a week on content. And these are the exact systems that my one-on-one clients are using to make over $3 million a month with their businesses. All right, let's get into it.
Just to introduce myself, my name's Jake. I'm 23. And I run a real estate marketing company. So we basically do photography, videography, and, full marketing for realtors in Toronto. I've been doing it for about 3 years now, and we just hit a 30K month. So definitely starting to build some momentum. And yeah, in terms of social media, I think it was something that I was doing a lot better early on, and that was just naturally me reposting client work and was getting clients through that. But recently it's just sort of fallen off. And I definitely understand the power of me posting and showing myself on camera more. So that's why I'm really interested in building a brand around that and kind of having a platform for me to post and connect with not only potential clients, but also just my friends. I am in a network with a bunch of other entrepreneurs, and it's just I also want to kind of stay relevant with those people, as well as build a bigger clientele for my business. So yeah.
Gotcha. So you mentioned to me before that you have kind of two accounts right now. One is mainly kind of client work, and one is the personal stuff, friends, stuff like that. And you're thinking of potentially starting a new one, or starting to post some more personal branding content onto the business one, or are you kind of decided on creating a new account for the personal brand?
Yeah, so I do. Technically, I already do have 3 accounts. So my first one is my high school Instagram account. It's just I haven't posted in a year or 2 years. I don't even know. But that's where I still message a bunch of personal friends. And then my work account is more so a portfolio page. So it's just a lot of client work, a lot of photos that we've taken for clients. And then there are some videos of me on camera, not many. So yeah, the third account, which I started and posted a few videos a couple months ago, my company is Pineway Media. So that's the main page. And then it's Jake.Pineway is that separate sort of more personal brand page. So that one is where I was thinking of just kind of posting a lot more. And then if there are relevant videos about stuff that pertains to realtors, I can cross post it or collab with the main page. So yeah, that's kind of the structure I was thinking.
Okay. And on this new account, the Jake.Pineway, what type of content were you thinking of posting? Obviously you mentioned you want to in part attract leads with the account, also kind of just be in the loop with the other entrepreneurs. You obviously are, you do a lot of social media for businesses. In thinking about the content you want to be posting on this new account, what have you thought that you were going to do?
Yeah, I've definitely thought about mainly doing iPhone, very candid type videos. A lot of other founders that I follow or just friends seem to post that way, and it seems to, have a good personal connection. So that was kind of my thought. Also just to make it very easy for me to actually post. Cause one of the struggles I've had is actually consistently posting. I've had these little spurs where it's okay, I post a bunch and then just stop. And most of that comes down to me trying to make higher quality videos, and then I'm just this is too much work. I want to kind of make it as simple as possible for myself, but I do think there would still be a mixture of like higher production videos, but more so the simple to film stuff is kind of what I was thinking. But I am open to kind of changing that perspective. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like I like the idea of kind of just the authentic, like yapping style videos. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like we're in a phase now where on social media people are a little bit getting tired of the overproduced, crazy edits, stuff like that, and it's also obviously more efficient. Like you can film
Yeah.
5 like talking videos on your iPhone in 10 minutes instead of spending days on the edited stuff. I guess like within the content and like within the value that you're sharing and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
is it going to be mainly targeted towards realtors or more just like kind of behind the scenes, you building your business, entrepreneurship, things you're learning along the way, more like documentation?
Yeah, I was definitely leaning more towards that, where it's just kind of like documentation of me building the business and the things I'm running into. And my thought behind that is kind of like a realtor would see our portfolio page,
Mm-hmm.
and then like if they see me actually running it and like the work that goes into trying to grow a small business. So like that's kind of the main focus I was thinking. And then parts of it would be like actual direct tips or like direct things for realtors. But yeah, I think like, I don't know if I'm super clear on what I would exactly be posting, but I just want to, like, I think for me, I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible to actually like consistently post, and then I can kind of refine from there, because I don't want to like try to make some overcomplicated thing and then just like fall off and not actually stick to it. Because I do also like, from talking to mentors, it does seem like a big problem in my business is we don't have a reliable client acquisition system. And I don't really think content is going to be that. It's more like lead nurture. So the thing that we're experimenting with is like cold calling to get new clients. But then obviously, like if they're in our funnel, they're seeing our videos, they would see, you know, our social media stuff. And if we have a strong presence, that could help. But yeah, I don't know if I have a super clear strategy in my head, because I am kind of trying to do two things at once. It's trying to be like friend content and like entrepreneur stuff, and also like get new clients. So it's like a little weird.
It's interesting that you say you don't think that social media or like organic at least could ever be like the main acquisition source, and you know cold and like saying cold calling could be.
Yeah.
Like why do you feel like, I guess, cold calling would be like a more effective in terms of lead gen than like organic content?
Okay, well, first of all, this is like what my coach said, so it's like take it with a grain of salt. But I think the bigger reason is just like, I want a client acquisition system that is very predictable. It's like, if I know I do X number of whatever, I'm going to get Y number of clients. And I have felt that content would not be as predictable, but I have never actually like gone all in with content. So that's also just like, could not be the case. So yeah, I think it's also just like considering the stage of business I'm at. I do think if I had a lot more followers and like a lot more kind of power on social media, then it would become a lot more effective. But regardless, there would still need to be some sort of method to like convert people. So I don't know.
Fair, man.
Yeah.
I guess like the way I do it is through like a DM funnel, right? Basically, it's very super simple. You know, you post organic, attract ideal clients. I have a setter who messages the guys who seem qualified, nurtures them in the DMs. They see the organic content. we send them lead magnets, we send them YouTube resources,
Yeah.
and then obviously getting them on a sales call and things like that. And then at the same time, while I'm posting organic, I'm then running like some profile ads. So if you've interacted in my profile within the last 30, 60, 90 days, running some ads there, and then also boosting some of the best organic pieces of content. And because I have like a lead tracker, I have a content tracker, because I know which videos bring in the most qualified leads. I know which ones to boost, and it's not necessarily the ones that get the most views, which is kind of interesting. It's like sometimes it's ones that wouldn't look like an outlier just based on looking at my feed, but because I have like the correct tracking systems in place, I kind of know like this video converts twice as many followers as kind of this other one that has way more reach. So I think tracking is going to be an important part, especially if you want to obviously not kind of replace your current strategy with social media, but make social media, you know, a more, I guess, a bigger part of your lead acquisition. Having like a tracker for, you know, where leads are coming from, what video, you know, what niche are they, the quality of the lead, kind of like all these different characteristics, and then the videos that you're posting, tracking the followers for 1,000 views, tracking the engagement rate, shares, all those different things. I found that to be like a really important part of basically knowing what exactly to create and what to talk about, instead of just kind of saying, oh, okay, like I know a lot of my followers are like realtors or into content, so I'm just going to try to find like viral ideas and just copy them. It's like, no, I know when I post this type of content or I talk about this specific idea, I get more qualified followers. So I'm going to double down on that. So I think tracking is going to be a big thing. I think, you know, the second part is getting clear on who exactly you're speaking to, right? And obviously with you, it's a little bit tricky, because you have you want to speak to clients, but you also want to speak to, you know, entrepreneurs. And so I always like to think of stuff like ratios. Like if I'm posting, let's just say 50% stuff that maybe my entrepreneur friends would relate to, and like 50% stuff that would be interesting to, you know, realtors looking to grow their business, I'm probably going to attract about 50-50 split.
Yeah.
So it's like a matter of, okay, what do I value more? So I think for you, it might make sense to do like 70% stuff that you think would attract your ideal clients, but just kind of from a founder-led perspective, as opposed to the videos you've been posting on your other accounts. And then maybe like 30% stuff that's more like behind the scenes, building my business, young entrepreneur in, you know, Toronto, building a business, stuff like that. And at the same time, it's not mutually exclusive, right? Like the stuff that you're posting to attract leads with this new personal brand, a lot of that can overlap too, and you know, attract other entrepreneurs. So I think you got to think about it like, okay, what's the ratio? And then what is a piece of content, or what is content types that are going to actually appeal to both of those at once? And then again, if you're in a stage where you're like, holy shit, like my ads have stopped working, like I really need more leads from organic, or the cold calling isn't there, then that's where you shift the strategy to be like, look, I need to like double down on stuff that's going to speak directly to my ICP. And for a little bit, the entrepreneur friends who are following me are not really going to like, the content isn't really going to relate to them as much. So there is going to be a bit of a trade-off in terms of like what is actually going to be worth it. I think the second part, in terms of, you know, what to actually talk about, this is how I think about that in terms of like in terms of growing the brand, and then actually converting, you know, people who see your content into clients. I'm just going to share my screen quickly here. Have you heard of this thing called like brand outliers?
I don't think so.
Have you ever heard that term? Okay. So it's super, super simple. It's basically like, how can we get strangers on the internet to care about us who have never seen our content before? And so like the way that I think about this, so for example, I've grown my following, you know, to 80,000 followers in large part because of brand outliers, and because I identified my brand outliers and then leveraged them correctly in terms of the hooks of my videos. So you probably, you follow me, you see my content. For a while there, all my videos were, I'm 22 with 70,000 followers, and here's how to get X, Y, and Z dream outcome, or here's how to make better content. I basically did a lot of research in terms of, what are the things about me that are, unique and impressive to others. I also talked to people like my friends, other business partners. I'm like, hey, what about me stands out to you? And so I basically generated this list of external brand outliers, which, as you can see on the screen, money, results, lifestyle, titles. So for example, for me, a clear external brand outlier is I'm a content strategist for the School of Hard Knocks, right? And they have 20 million followers. That's an objective thing that you can see, and that is true about me. And then internal outliers, brand outliers, are a little bit harder to see. They're your mindset, they're your story, right? For you, an internal brand outlier would be how does someone as young as you, as successful as you, like what is the mindset that it took? What are the ups and downs? What are the failures that you had to go through to get to building this business to now, hitting 30K a month at only 23 years old? And so the way that I think about it is like, what is the content I can create about, or how can I like hook people in? You hook them in with the external, and then you nurture them and build trust and convert them with the internal. So like the whole idea is, especially with you, you have a lot of credibility. You're young, you're running the successful business, you've been doing it for a while. You have a team under you now, like that's sick. Even if to you it's like, oh, finally I have a team. To a lot of realtors, to a lot of other business owners, they're just solopreneurs, right? And they want to have a team under them. So you got to think about like, what are those things that would be, impressive that I could leverage in my hooks that would attract the people that I want to speak to in my content. So that's like the start. And then it's like, okay, once I hook them in, how do I actually keep them? I don't just want to flex on them all the time or like brag, right? I want to actually give value. I want to go deeper. I want to show behind the scenes of how I got these external brand outliers, which is what the internal brand outliers are for. So sharing your story, your mindset, your character, your beliefs, all these things are what is going to take someone from just following you and just liking the video that they saw. So they go on your page and like, oh, I'll drop Jake a follow. He seems like he's doing something cool. I'm also a business owner. To like, oh shit, like Jake has everything dialed. Like I respect where this guy came from. Like I resonate with him. I feel like we came from the same place. Like I gotta work with this guy. Like that's really what takes your brand from a commodity brand to a personal brand. Because a lot of people have, real estate media businesses, right? A lot of people share the same value or are great videographers, but it's like at the end of the day, what is going to make you stand out? And there's a bunch of things. It could be your quality, right? Your quality is great, but there's again, quality. A lot of videographers have great quality. Not a lot of videographers have a clear and convincing story and actually resonate and connect with their audience. So I think that's really the part that when you start this personal brand, you got to make sure you focus on to get those results that we talked about. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, for sure. And that's definitely like, I've never seen this, but it's very apparent that a lot of the people that are successful with social media are kind of doing that. Like the classic example is like the course seller standing on a Lambo. Like obviously that's like the extreme, but it's like if you're flexing some sort of thing, that's going to get interest, but then you build the connection through like a more deeper personal thing. I guess you've definitely convinced me that my content needs to be mainly focused on getting realtors, because like basically that is the problem right now. Like we want to get more clients. And also like the whole thing of me saying like content for entrepreneurs, like it's realistically like a small group of people I already know. And obviously like it'd be cool to attract like other people. Something that I'm unclear about with that is like 30K month as an example. Like that's to an entrepreneur, like, okay, cool. I'm fine to say that, but like that might seem a little like weird if I'm like saying that to realtor clients. Like, I don't know. Like that's where I'm like unsure of how to position both on the same page. And maybe it isn't supposed to be on the same page.
Well, that's a great point, right? that's a brand outlier that's pretty universal, but again, doesn't necessarily apply to realtors. Like obviously it would be if they're making less than that, they'd be like, okay, like this guy's an authority to me because he makes more than me. But like you have other brand outliers. You've worked with a ton of people. You've shot amazing homes. Like what are those brand outliers that are a little bit more external that you could the numbers, experience that you have with your business that would speak to them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, some examples. I gotta double check the exact number, but we've captured media for like homes, like the value now of like all the places we've captured is like over 700 or like 800 million. So it's like we've basically
sick.
like done stuff for like a lot of places, and like we film places that are like the biggest one I've done is like 40 million. So like obviously like I've like captured content for like some pretty crazy places. And then I think also the fact that I have a team, like talking about like how many people work for me, and like obviously I'm young, and like having people work for me seems kind of like a brand outlier as well. So yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like, dude, I'm 23 and I've shot almost $1 billion worth of homes. Here's whatever you want to share in the video. Like you're just basically framing yourself as worth listening to.
Yeah.
Like leveraging your age and that number, that's an insane hook that is going to hook people in. Like, again, not even necessarily realtors, but just anyone who is a videographer, is a creative, wants to have their own business at a young age, like that, something like that. And then it depends what you want to go into. If you want to share like, and here's how I get my realtor clients, whatever that is for you. I guess give me an example based on that hook. Like I'm 23 and I've shot almost $1 billion worth of property and ... What is that? And
these are the top things I see wrong with people's photos, or like maybe that's like not the best wording, but like I've seen, like me personally, I have filmed like probably 300 homes, 400 homes. So it's like I've seen so many, and it's like I know these little things that just like that if people don't have attention to detail like other photographers, then the final product just doesn't look as good. So like that could be an example.
I like the 300 again. That's another number to leverage. I want you to think about it from the realtor's perspective. They don't really care how the photos look or if there's some warping, right? They care about the results that, or the lack thereof, right? That comes if you have bad photos or if you have great photos. So when you're crafting that hook, I understand from a creative perspective, you're thinking, oh, the video looks bad, or, these are what make a photo look bad. But it's like, how can we tie that back into the business outcome that these realtors are looking for?
Yeah. Well, the main thing, and like the way I view our marketing, it's not directly like, I don't really believe it directly helps sell the house, but I believe it helps sell the realtor to their next client. And the way I see it is like, if a realtor is going all out with marketing, they're posting multiple videos, they have really nice photos, then other people who want to sell their home are going to be interested in working with that realtor. And that, like, to tie it into clients I've worked with, they feel like the authority kind of realtor. And I mean, I don't know of like, I don't have like exact stats of like if people have like actually got new things, but it's just like the simple fact, if you're putting in more effort into marketing, like you are going to be noticed and people are going to want to work with someone like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I guess that could be a video. Basically, I'm 23. I've shot more than 300 homes, and here are the top 3 things, or these are the only 3 things that get realtors more clients, right? That's the dream outcome. Realtors getting more clients. We're starting with the authority brand outlier, which means people are actually going to care and hang around to see what you have to say. And then at the end of the day, the value doesn't even matter that much. Like, it really is the hook. So But I
Yeah.
do think that's a really unique perspective that I, as someone not in the industry, wouldn't think about, because I think, oh, like the photos sell the home. So again, that's another video, like the media, real estate media or house tours don't actually sell the house. They sell the realtor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? That opens a curiosity loop in my head, even as someone who's not a realtor. I'm like, I've been told the opposite my entire life, or I've thought the opposite. How
Yeah.
could this be true? That's a really strong hook. And again, especially if you include some credibility at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm going to stick around and watch that. And realtors are too. And again, the value you're giving is not just like copy paste. Like that's a unique perspective
Yeah.
that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. So
Yeah.
when you're creating content, it's really easy to share. Here's the 3 steps X, Y, and Z, and it's just the same generic copy paste things that everyone else in your industry is saying. But it's if you can take it one level deeper and really share some like advanced tactics about how to grow as a realtor, how to get more clients, how to sell more homes, that is non-obvious, that other people that you haven't actually seen other people talking about. That's truly what's going to make realtors think, oh shit, like this guy knows way more than me. He's clearly an authority. I want to work with him, especially if you can shift beliefs and basically prove to your ideal client that your way of doing things or your way of thinking is right or better than their way of thinking.
Yeah.
That's like a hack to make someone see you as an authority. So I think there's a ton of good content ideas kind of from that conversation that we talked about.
Yeah.
I guess do any other ideas or topics come to mind based off that?
I think, well, another one that I just kind of think of like a dream outcome for realtors or like a pain point I can push into is like them losing a listing to another realtor that has a stronger social media or like a stronger marketing plan, because basically all homeowners are interviewing a ton of realtors and like they're going to choose the one that they're most confident in selling their place. So like some of the clients I work with or like the people I see, maybe they have a bunch of fake followers and like their social media isn't actually that good, but it still does give them authority compared to a realtor that just has no social media or like very, very low followers. So I think like that's kind of something else I could tie into. It's like, if you're sick of losing listings to another realtor that actually has a strong social media, this is what you can do to like build a stronger base or whatever, like something along the lines of that. I think that is one that would resonate with a lot of people, because like basically every realtor has lost a listing to someone else. So
it's part of the game for sure. I think like something like if you're not posting on social media in 2026, you're burning listings or you're losing listings to other realtors. Or like another pivot on that is my realtor clients are stealing your leads. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Because you position it as you having clients, and then you basically talk about the unique mechanism or your way of doing things to help your clients get ahead of their competition, right? And then you can go into your process. We start by doing a brand audit, then we do this, this, and this. And that's it is a bit of a top of funnel piece because it appeals to kind of any realtors, because they all want to hold on to their clients. But then because you're talking more specifically about your mechanism, your framework, whatever that is, it's more of like it ends up being kind of more of a middle or bottom of funnel piece of content that would do a pretty good job at actually converting people, especially if you have then a long form, YouTube video asset breaking down, here's how we get our realtor clients results. It's my branded name framework. So for me, it's like the solopreneur system. It's really important that you brand your mechanism or your way of getting clients results. If you funnel people from that first reel to that YouTube video, it's like 15 minutes, and with a call to action to like book in a call with you, I think that would crush.
Yeah, that's like, to be honest, I'll tell you my initial reaction. This like scares me that I would start getting too many clients, which is just like a stupid fear.
That's crazy.
It's like a big problem has been like the fulfillment side of things. But anyways, that's an easier problem to solve than trying to get clients through like cold calling or something. But yeah, I think That would be huge. And I can actually think of a great client. Like recently we did this shoot where it was a massive listing, like the biggest listing this client's ever had. I had, me filming the video. My other videographer, he's really, really good at photos, was taking all the photos. Like we were both there at the shoot. My COO was also at the shoot. We had this whole like strategy, filmed a ton of videos. He was super happy with it. He ran paid ads. Like getting him to do a sit down and like we like walk through the strategy of like how he marketed his listing. That would be a great piece of content. And also like that would connect me with realtors like him, because one specific thing that he does, which not a lot of realtors do, is like genuinely puts effort into preparing the home. Like this guy had all the cabinets repainted. He like changed all the hardware on things and like was doing like a shit ton of stuff that like most realtors are like, oh, I staged the place. It's like, okay, cool. That's like kind of bare minimum at this point. Like, so yeah, I think that's an exciting kind of idea.
Client testimonials, man. I love that idea. Sitting down, especially if you can do them in person. Like I've done a few, unfortunately it's just over Google Meets, but sitting down, walking through the strategy and talking about the result and like just uploading that as like a 15-minute YouTube video would do so well for getting you clients.
Yeah.
And then once you have a couple of those, and then you have a couple more like system or mechanism breakdowns where it's not interviews, but it's you're talking about the process. Maybe you have a Miro board or a Canva presentation, something, nothing too difficult. The mix of those two long form, I guess, formats, all you need at that point is just to get some traction, get some top of funnel awareness from the social media. And if you can get realtors to those long form videos, dude, it's just going to be, too many clients. Like, you're gonna have to raise your prices. I don't know what you're gonna have to figure out.
Well, that I feel like I need to build a stronger initial offer, because right now, like the core thing we're just doing is listing marketing. So it's like, and we have experimented with like an Instagram revamp thing where we like film pinned videos and like optimize their bio and stuff. But I do think like if I'm building more authority on Instagram, then I could, charge higher prices for something like that.
100%. I guess like with your current offer now, because a lot of the times when I work with clients, it's like we start with actually looking at their offer, getting clear on it, improving it. With your offer now, like your core offer, what does that look like?
Yeah, like the core offer we're doing right now is it's basically a full marketing package for a home. So we're going to go into the property, take full photos of it, and then usually it's a social media video with the realtor on camera, and then we create a floor plan. So it's not some grand slam offer like Hermosi talks about. Like it is a pretty commoditized thing, but the thing that makes us stand out is definitely our videos. Like we really coach people on camera and have worked with a lot of people who have like never been on camera before and guided them through that process. We actually put a lot of effort into realtors speaking on camera. Like we do a lot of takes to get it right for them, because it's what is going to represent their brand. And then photos, to be honest, our photos were nothing special for a long time, but we actually like lost a client for a short period of time because our photos sort of were not improving, and now we've like really improved them.
Nice.
And my other videographer, like he has really taken the lead on that with experimenting with a bunch of different things. So yeah, like it is basically the quality and like dedication. And I do think another thing that like sets us apart is the fact that we're young. Like basically everyone on the team is 23. So, we understand social media. We are also like very ambitious people, and, things that are just like second nature to us are very like complicated to realtors when it comes to just like online and how these things work. So yeah.
No, that's a great idea. It made me think of, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but there's this format going around that's like, it's like a clone format where, I'm on the left and I'm also on the right. And it's like, for instance, I did a version of this that was like 10K versus 100K personal brand. Yeah. And then, I give the 10K which is what most people do, or like the old way of doing things. And then I give the 100K, which is like my secret sauce of how I build personal brands. You
Yeah.
could do something like that that would do really well comparing, your team, young, understanding social media to like a traditional marketing
Yeah.
team. And you could even go crazy. Like you could even like dress up old in one of them. Like I think you can make that go viral if you really wanted to. And
Yeah.
just
I like that.
like, again, it's comparing you. It's showing that you guys have things. You're basically a better option for realtors, but it's not like, here's why we're a better option for realtors. You're not explicitly saying that. You're not like being too salesy. You're doing it in an entertaining way. So I
Yeah.
think that like a format like that would be really interesting. I think, even this whole idea of how we help realtors feel comfortable on camera, that's a huge problem. When I used to do videography, that was like the main objection that clients had, or that, their team had, is, oh, I don't want to look stupid on camera, or I'm so bad on camera. So I think that would, if you can really call out that problem and show that you kind of relate and understand it, and then talk about, how you basically help address it or solve it for the realtor, and make them feel comfortable and show up confidently on camera, that would be another really great idea for the personal brand.
And for that idea, as an example, how would you suggest structuring the video? Would it still be like, I'm 23 and I've filmed 300 realtor videos, or I filmed, sorry, like not 300 realtor videos, but like, and I filmed XYZ. Like basically, would it still have a hook like that, or just go straight into like, if you don't want to
throw a hook on, I would throw a hook on. Like just from my experience, like the videos that have done the best for me have always had an authority hook like that.
Yeah.
You could also do two versions and throw them on trial, one with the authority hook, one going straight into it. But I think, I'm 23, I filmed $700 million worth of homes, and here's how my team, or here's how we make sure that realtors feel confident on camera. Something like that.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't get like the best views, because it is a little bit of a more niche problem than like just getting more clients as a realtor. But I think in terms of like a middle of funnel problem solving video, it would build a lot of trust with the right people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I think I also need to do some work clarifying my ideal client, because when I've like done cold calling, it's casting too wide of a net. But like realistically, the ideal person cares about social media already and has a presence, and we're helping them with that, rather than trying to like sell someone on why they should create a social media. So it's like someone who is already, experienced with having videos of them. And they like, because an example that I can, like a specific example, we just shot a video for a new client to us, and the old company that he worked with would literally take a single take and just be like, okay, that's good. Really? And we did 4 or 5 talking sections, and each one we were taking like 10 different takes, and we're like, okay, say this slightly different, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he directly said like that was a huge difference, and like can tell that we actually care about getting a good result for him. And like, to me, that seems like a no-brainer kind of thing. It's like, it takes us an extra 20 minutes out of shoot, but we're getting you a much better result and making them feel confident with the final product. So
have you made a video about that yet?
No, I haven't made any content. So I mean, like this is more me trying to like figure out the structure of like how to actually do the social media, like with the accounts, before I actually begin like doing this. It's like, this is the question for you. Like, if I did, like, maybe I just use my personal like high school account for like very personal things. Like if I want to talk about 30K a month, and then just keep the like Jake.Pineway, like mainly realtor stuff. I don't know. Cause I feel like if I say 30K a month to like clients, that just like feels off. I don't know.
Okay. I like you're not going to say 30K a month in every video. That's just one possible outlier to lead a hook with. Yeah. So like, I wouldn't, obsess over like, you're not going to be sharing your income every video.
Yeah.
Um, like at the same time, you need the proper mix of like value, personal storytelling, and then more like top of funnel formats like that clone comparison, for example.
Yeah.
Because if you're posting, I wouldn't post on like the personal, because what's the point?
Yeah.
Like what, you're flexing on your friends, right? Like you're like,
Yeah.
hey guys
Yeah.
from high school, I'm hitting 30K per month. Whereas if you're posting it on this personal brand, which is what I do,
Yeah.
I'm 23, I make 40K per month, and here's how I help my business owner clients convert more clients with content, whatever the idea is. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that in every video. I actually was in January, which was a bit of a problem, which is why I've shifted. But
Yeah.
I would 100% make a video like that. Even just think about it like, okay, like 2 times a month, I'm gonna drop the income as a brand outlier in one of my hooks. The rest
Yeah.
of the time, it can be more realtor specific. It can be the number of houses I filmed. It can be the value of the homes. It doesn't always need to be an external brand outlier, especially if you feel like you're repeating the same stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like when you really want to really do well with a video and get views, like that's the quickest way to do it, especially
Yeah.
for guys who don't know you, especially starting a brand new account, right? Like it
Yeah.
would be different if you had 100K followers and everyone already knew your story. But with 0 followers, you're going to have to educate people on that. You're going to have to build the credibility. You're going to have to, share who you are and why you do what you do more than if you already had a solid foundation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that kind of broke a limiting belief I just had, because it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it makes sense to post on the other page. And like my thought too was, people that I meet, like new entrepreneurs, I kind of thought like they wouldn't want to follow me if I'm like talking about realtor stuff, but it's like, okay, they can see that content and swipe by if they're not interested. And then if I'm still on that same account posting something that's more related to them, then they can be interested and watch it. So it's like, it doesn't need to be all like suited to both.
Yeah.
people.
Like week in the life of a 30K per month business owner in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
Like that would be a sick video. I'd watch that. A lot of your clients would watch that, especially if they're younger.
Yeah.
It's going to attract other young, successful business owners in Toronto,
Yeah.
which is going to grow your network. And again, it's like once a week. Like for a while there, I was doing, week in the life of a 22-year-old making this much money. And, a little hack you can do is you combine 2 weeks and just pick the best parts of the 2 weeks. So it seems like your week is like crazy. Like every day you had like a new client or something. But I think a little bit more documentation than you're doing now, like talking about a shoot you just did, talking about a client you just signed and how you were able to sign them, and how you were different than all the other media people who wanted them to sign with them.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a mix, right, of the value of the personal storytelling, but also the documentation. And the documentation isn't going to apply as much to the realtors, but I think it's going to apply more to the young, ambitious entrepreneurs who are also good to have in your audience, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And then what is your take on iPhone versus like, obviously I know you don't film any iPhone videos, or at least I haven't seen them. So
Correct.
like, I'm sure you are a little biased, but like, what are your thoughts on that? And then also with how much I should be posting, like if you could just kind of like go into a bit on like how to actually stay consistently posting, because that has been the biggest problem. Like I know we're talking about the strategy, but it's like the strategy doesn't fucking matter if I'm not posting. So
100%. So in terms of like the iPhone stuff, my whole offer is building premium personal brands.
yeah.
So it doesn't really make sense for me to show up like looking like I rolled out of bed on my iPhone, at least from my perspective.
Yeah.
Most of my clients, and I know this because I've done research on the guys who paid me thousands of dollars. They're like, one of the main reasons is always, it's so cinematic. I love the quality. I love the editing. I love like just how your page looks. So I'm like, if I know that, why would I ever do a lot of iPhone stuff?
Yeah.
If my offer was different, then I could get away with it where I'm not necessarily selling the visuals, but because I am, I'm I'm kind of in this box. And I'm not like I love making my stuff look cinematic. I think for you, again, because you want to be helping realtors with media, I wouldn't do exclusively iPhone. Like I would make sure that there's still some higher quality stuff that does show your kind of cinematography filmmaking skills. But I would definitely mix in some iPhone footage, especially if you want to at the very beginning, you want to get a lot of volume out there to test and like trial reels and stuff like that. That's where like you can just film an iPhone footage or an iPhone video of you talking. You can tell a story, but you can film the hook 5, 10 different times. And then you
Yeah.
post that same video as a trial. Like this is like a crazy thing I found out the other day. I was like, and then I tested it out. You only film the main story once. You just film an additional 5 hook sentences, and then you cut those together and you test it out. And
Yeah.
it's just easier to do that on an iPhone. So I think having a mix makes total sense to you, especially if it's like if all I'm filming is on my professional camera, and that's going to be too much friction where you end up not posting consistently because of that, then like let's mix in more iPhone footage. So I don't want the camera to be like the reason that you don't do it. I think in terms of the workflow, I'm going to share my screen again.
Yeah.
This is my workflow.
The thing is too, like, I need to allocate my mental energy and like calendar time in a way that makes sense. Obviously, like it wouldn't make sense for me to just like spend 20 hours a week on this movie.
So I spend 4 hours a week on content.
Yeah.
And I post in the last month or two, I've been posting about 5 times a week.
Yeah.
So like this is obviously oversimplified, but this is what I teach my clients. This is what I do myself. I break up I call them like content functions into days of the week. So is today Monday? Today's Monday. So tonight I'm going to be ideating and basically deciding on 7 videos that I'm going to film on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my content research, which is, I can also get into that as well, and I'm blocking it off on my calendar, importantly, right? Because if you don't block it off, things are going to come up. You're going to be like, oh, I have client work to do. So I'll get to the content after, and then you just won't. So blocking in your calendar, labeling it, having a specific day for a specific content function, it should only take like an hour to ideate, honestly, especially if you're doing it the proper way. Tuesday for me is scripting. A lot of the videos I film and I'm filming recently are actually unscripted. So it does depend. If I'm doing a lot of storytelling, talking head stuff, it's going to be more scripted. It's going to take more time. But for me, this takes about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half on the Tuesday. Then Wednesday filming, this is probably going to take the most time. If you're filming on an iPhone, it would probably take, less than an hour. Just batch everything, change your shirt a couple times, throw in a hoodie so it doesn't look like you just filmed everything at once. And then Thursday for me is basically uploading my footage to Final Cut Pro, color grading, uploading it to frame.io, and then linking it to like my Notion content tracker for my editing team. And like it's literally 4 hours a week. It's like, okay, you're busy, but like any business owner, if they really understand that content is going to bring in leads consistently, like they can carve out 4 hours a week on content. Obviously you need an editing team and stuff like that. But this is kind of the workflow that I'm using right now. And it's what I recommend to like all of my clients. And it's been like a game changer. So obviously it kind of depends on your schedule and things like that. But do you feel like something like this would be doable?
Yeah. Like I'm at a stage of business where I can carve this out, and like because basically like the only fluctuations are either like fires to put out in the business that just randomly come up, or a shoot that gets booked. So if I'm booking this off in my calendar, then like the COO is not going to like schedule a shoot. When you script things that aren't actually scripted, like are you basically scripting like the hook and then like the core ideas you want to talk about and then a call to action? Or like how do you
let me see. I'll show an example of this.
Yeah.
So this is a video that I posted maybe last week, and it was basically meant to be like a documentation video of like, holy shit, I made 20K in one day. So I didn't script anything. I I scripted this hook, which was just actually a clip of me making 20K. So it was like kind of a sick hook because it was in the moment and stuff like that. But then I just literally broke it down by like, what is the experience? Like, what was the thing that happened or the experience? What did I feel about that thing, and why did I feel that way? And then based on that thing happening, what was like the outcome, or what was the mindset change, or like the lesson? And so like that's how I think of storytelling videos. Like, how do I script that? How do I tell a good story? Here's what happened. Here's what I felt about it. Here's why I felt that way, and here's what changed because of it. And then I literally just added bullet points kind of under each section. So I do love adding headings before actually adding the actual script. For whatever script I'm writing, I have a bunch of different frameworks. But it's kind of like fill in the blank. Once you understand the different sections you need to hit, it's now just adding those details to fill out those sections. But like this is literally what I did. So a lot of times it's just bullet points. I've tried doing it where I literally just talk, but then I find it goes on way too long. I'm like editing lines out. It doesn't make sense. So I find having like it's a bit of a hybrid approach where it's not fully scripted, but I kind of know what I'm going to say. That's a good way I found to do it.
And I would assume, like, do you ever film a video? I guess maybe not, since you do it all with a good camera, but it's like you would never just talk for one long thing. It's always like a bunch of cuts, right?
Like I've talked, but then when I go to edit, I just need to trim a lot so that it looks cut up anyways.
Yeah.
It's also probably just I just don't want to feel like I'm making a mistake on camera, or I'm saying something wrong, or I'm stuttering. So I would just like remove those things. But
Yeah.
I think it's a great skill. Like obviously I'm pretty good at speaking to the camera, but the guys who can just one take, pull out the iPhone, it makes sense, it goes viral. It's like that's a whole nother level of speaking to the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm at that level, but I think it makes a lot of sense, like, to implement a structure like this, like a weekly structure, so that basically I've just had no structure in my head. So I'm just like, it feels overwhelming because it's like, I got to do everything at once kind of thing. And that's how it has been in the past. Like the last time I filmed personal branding stuff, none of it's been posted yet. We're coming up with ideas on the filming day. And then it's just like, that's not a very effective, method to do that.
So you don't want to feel rushed. You don't want to feel like you have to create a video, so you just choose an idea. Like you want to feel like all the ideas that you have or want to speak on are like strong, as opposed to just like, oh, I need to post 7 times this week. I don't know what to talk about. Like, let me just do this because it's good enough. So the more time you give yourself, you even like for me, like I spend a whole day Monday. I do a session in the morning. If I can only do 5 out of 7, at least I have, the evening to finish it up. Whereas if it was just like at the end of the night I'm doing it, then I would have to bleed into Tuesday, and it would kind of throw everything off. So man, if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot them over. I got to run here. I have another call, unfortunately, but I think this was pretty great. Do you feel like you got some value out of this?
Yeah, 100%. Like I definitely got a lot more clarity on how to structure things, and also like speaking out loud about these things has just like explained, or like kind of taught me like, okay, what I was thinking before just doesn't make sense. Like, do it this way. Or like the whole thing of like talking about 30K a month, like I made it seem like such a big deal in my head, but it's like really not that big of a deal. So yeah, very helpful to see that, and definitely like the inner workings of like how the structure works through like week by week to get that out. So yeah, thank you so much for doing this. Like I'm excited to get into content, and you did also like convince me that content can be like the main lead generation source. I think my thought about that is just like, we need clients now. And it's like, okay, cold calling is probably going to be more effective in the short term, but like to long term build a big brand, yeah, social media seems like the more effective path.
If there are any realtors watching right now, where can they find you, your business, etc.?
Pineway.media on Instagram. And yeah, we'd be happy to connect.
All right, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for the time. We'll connect later.
Okay, sweet. Thank you so much, bro.
All right, man. Take care. Bye.
Peace.